Listo. Okay, guys, I think the live just started. Yes. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to another live video, I hope you guys are doing okay today. Happy start of first day of the week. Yes, because it's Sunday. So, as you guys saw in the title, today we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 1. We're going to start these Bible readings every Sunday. So, we're going to read Genesis, like I said, chapter 1. We're going to be talking about the creation of the earth. So, how did God create the earth according to the Bible? We all know, and if you don't know, you're going to learn today that God created the earth and the skies, the moon, the stars, the sun, everything, nature, even us, in 6 days, right? So we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to know what did God created in the first day? What did he created in the second day, the third day, fourth day, and so on. So please have your little notebook so you can write so you can write on it and just memorize this. Because after this video ends, I want you to know by heart. I want you to know by heart what did God created on the first day, the second day, the third day, and so on. So let's get started. Please have everyone have your Bible on Genesis chapter 1. We're gonna start in verse 1. So let's get started. It says in verse 1, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the surface of the watery depths, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, 'Let there be light.'" So remember, so just as we read right here, everything was dark. It was dark and it was just water. It was just water. And then God, from that, he created all of this, right? So it was just, think about you being in the middle of the ocean at night. Not even in the middle, like in the ocean, all the way down deep. You can't see up, you can't see down. Everything's just water around you and it's dark. That's how Earth used to be, or whatever was around it at that time. So it says that God said, "Let there be light." And here is where everything changes. He said, let me find here it goes. "Let there be light." So then light was created, right? The light was created. And then it says, "And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and then he called the darkness night. Evening came, and then morning, the first day." So after God created the light, the Bible says that he called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So before there was nothing. So after he created light, he created basically day and night. And it says it was evening and the morning, the first day. So please write on your notebook that in the first day, God created the light. This is very important, okay? First day, God created light. And I just want to mention something very interesting. It says that there was evening and then morning the first day. So something for you guys to know is that something for you guys to know is that God created that always we for us, the day starts at midnight, right? So midnight, that's when, so let's say today's Sunday. So today at midnight, it's going to be Monday. But in reality, for God, in the calendar of God, the next day starts as soon as the sun sets. That's why it says, "And there was evening and then morning the first day." So right now the sun is setting because it's 7 p.m. There's still light. I mean, if you go outside, it's still day, but in reality, it's about to be Monday. Even if it's 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Let's say right at 7:30 p.m. it's gonna be Monday, not at midnight. And this is because God counts every day at evening. So always remember that. That's why it says evening came and then morning the first day. So now let's go to verse, number 6. To see what did God created on the second day. So remember, the first day God created the light. So on the second day it says, "Then God said, 'Let there be an expanse between the waters, separating water from water.' So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above the expanse. So remember that everything was just water. I told you guys that everything was just water. So then God created an expanse that separated the waters. So basically, there was this separation. Obviously, the waters from above went all the way down, well, all the way up, and the waters from below, they went all the way down. So obviously, when he created this separation, the waters from below, it went all the way down, and there was this like void between the separation that he made and then the waters. This void, he called it sky. Let me show you a picture how everything looks so you guys can know. So, well, let's just go back really quick to verse 6. It says, then God said, let there be an expanse between the waters, separating the waters from above, separating water from water. So God made the expanse. Let me show you a picture right here that I saved for you guys to know. Here it goes. This one right here. Just picture it like this. It's crazy, right? This is the expanse. So he created this expanse. Obviously, when he separates the waters from below, they just go, because of the gravity, all the way down. And that's going to be the sea, you know? And then the waters from above are going to stay above this expanse. And then between them is the sky. So it says, so God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above the expanse. And it was so. So God called the expanse sky. So there you go. It says that God called the expanse sky. It says, and then it was evening, then evening came, and then morning the second day. So in the second day, God created the skies. No, but when I say the skies, we're not talking about the sun, the moon, and the stars. No. That's gonna come afterwards. So right now it's just the sky. Basically, the expanse, the separation, not even the clouds. It's just this separation. Water from above, water from below. And here you can see the picture a little bit better. But you know what this makes me think? This makes me think about something. And it's how, like, on the top, there's just water. And that is what astronauts are always floating, I mean, obviously, there's some things that we can't explain as humans, only God knows. But, when you go to the depths of the sea, there's this pressure going on. So you cannot swim all the way down without getting hurt or something. I don't know if you guys remember the implosion of the Titan. I think it was like this group of people, of billionaires, that they went deep down to visit the Titanic's remains, and they disappeared. And they later found out that the little, what is it called? I don't know what it was called. It wasn't a submarine, but it was something else, that it imploded. So basically, because of the pressure of the water, it's so much. If you go deep and more deep, like if you go deeper into the ocean, the pressure is just gonna, like squeeze you. And the same thing happens above, when you go to the universe, to the heavens, to the sky. Well, not to the heavens, because nobody can reach the heavens, only through Christ, right? But when astronauts go up there, and they're floating as if they were inside the water, and then the pressure, it's so strong, just like it's underneath us, like in the sea. So that's very interesting. That's something pretty interesting. It connects to this, right? That above this expanse, there's water. So this was created on the second day, the expanse. So let's remember, the first day, the light was created, and on the second day, the sky was created. Well, this expanse. So let's see what was created on the third day. It says in verse 9, then God said, let the water under the sky, the water that went down, be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and he called the gatherings of the water seas. And God saw that it was good. Okay, so let's gathered this up. So basically, you have the waters above and then the waters below. Obviously, when God created this expanse, this separation, the waters below, they went all the way down to gravity. So there was this separation, this part that is just, there's nothing there. There's no water, nothing. There's not even skies, moon, or sun, because we're not even there yet, right? So it's pretty interesting, because then God, this is the third day. God, that's when he, with the waters below, he separates them and he says, okay, let the earth come out, right? So that's when we have earth and sea. This is what God creates on the third day, but not only sea and earth, but he also creates vegetation. Let's keep reading. It says, then God said, let the earth produce vegetation. Let me show you a picture right here. So it was something like this. Then God said, let the earth produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees on the earth and fruit trees on the earth, bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And it was so. The earth produced vegetation, seed-bearing plants according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Evening came, and then morning, the third day. So on the third day, the water was just covering everything, right? The waters below, this is like the firmament, the sky, the separation. So with the waters, God said, okay, let the earth come out. When the earth came out, God was like, okay, so now this is going to be the seas, and this is going to be the earth. So now earth, please produce vegetation. God was like, okay, now the earth, let it produce vegetation. Okay, so that's when, and then it says, and it was evening and morning, the third day. So on the third day, God created the seas, the earth, and the vegetation. So remember that, third day. So right now we have the first day, God creates the light. Second day, God creates the sky. And then the third day, God creates the sea, the land, and vegetation. Basically, the sea, the earth, and vegetation. So now let's read day fourth, okay? So it says on verse 14, it says, then God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night. Okay, this is an important part. Let's see. Let me put you picture right here. Well, no, actually, this picture is cool right here. This picture is cool. So God said, this is verse 14. He said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night. They will serve as signs for festivals and for days and years. They will be lights in the expanse of the sky to provide light on the earth. And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to have dominion over the day, which is the sun, the greater light to have dominion over the day, which is the sun. And then the lesser light, which is the moon, to have dominion over the night. And as well as the stars. So on the fourth day, God creates the stars, the sun, and the moon. Remember that, okay? And he says that he created them to mark festivals, days, and years. So we use the sun, the moon, and the stars to create, to count festivals. Obviously, to count the days, the years, and things like that. So something interesting that I want to mention. Let's keep reading, and then I'm going to tell you. So it says, God placed them in the expanse of the sky to provide light on the earth, to delineate the day and the light. Sorry, it's too small. Sorry, the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Evening came, and then morning, the fourth day. Okay, so let's pause right here, because it says that God, on the fourth day, he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. And this is something interesting, because science right now, we know that science, God uses science for everything, for his creation and everything. But then there's the science of Satan. I like to call it that way, because it's just filled with lies. It's what most of... it's what the government teaches in schools. just lies, because they tell you that we don't come from Adam and Eve, that we come from monkeys, right? And something that they also teach is that the sun was the first thing that was created in the universe, right? That it was the first thing ever. And that's a lie, because here, according to the Bible, to Genesis 1, right here, the thing that we're reading right now, it says that God created, like on the fourth day, that he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. So before the creation of the sun, there was already light, right? Because the sun is not the one who provides light. It's God, right? In the first day, God created the light, which is also connected with the Messiahs, because the Messiahs, like it says in the book of John, the first chapter, it says that Christ, the Verb, was there from the beginning when the earth was created and everything. So he is the light of the world, right? So light existed first. Light was before the sun. This is something that we need to remember. Also, they teach us, and obviously, right, because the plants and everything, they need a sun to grow. You know, they need the sun to grow and all of that, and water. But on the third day, God created vegetation and trees and everything. So those trees from the first time, like from the creation, they didn't need the sun to be created, because the sun was created afterwards, you know? So first was created vegetation on the third day, and then on the fourth day, God created the sun. So God is just letting us know that, because right now there's a lot of idolatry towards the sun. Even with like 1,000 years ago, like 3,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago, all of these people, like from Greece, from Rome, you know, they used to venerate the sun. They used to worship the sun. Right? And even till now, there's a lot of people who worship the sun without knowing. Like, for example, instead of worshiping God on Saturday, they do it on Sunday, the same day that's supposed to be meant for worshiping the sun. That's why it's called Sunday. You know, for example, during Christmas, they celebrate the birth of Christ, but in reality, Christ was born around September on the seventh day. Seventh month, according to the Bible, because New Year's is not in January, but in around April, which is around Easter and all of that. So that's New Year's for the Bible. So that's why the seventh month is September. So what are we celebrating in December on the 25th? Well, the 25th of December, it's a pagan feast called Saturnalia, which is an ancient Roman pagan feast, right? And on the 25th of December, it's when they celebrate the birth of the sun. The sun, you know, because everyone used to worship the sun. And like I said, also now they still worship it, but without knowing. And this is because they thought that the sun was the one who gave life to everything, right? Because the sun produces heat, so we don't freeze to death. The sun makes the vegetation grow and all of that. And I mean, God uses it, right? But in the creation, he specifically created the sun on the fourth day to show us that vegetation at the beginning didn't need the sun to grow or to be created. God showed us as well that the light that was created on the first day wasn't the sun either, right? Because it's not. He shows us that life for vegetations and for us, and light as well, comes from God, not from the sun. You know, so that's something that we need to remember. So let's remember, we are on the fourth day right now. So first day, God created the light. Second day, he created the sky. Third day, he created the sea, earth, and vegetation. On the fourth day, God creates the sun, the moon, and the stars. So on the second day, when he creates the sky, it's not with the stars and with the moon and with the sun. It's just the sky, just like this void area. Let's see it that way. And then on the fourth day, that's when he adds the sun, the moon, and the stars. So now let's read what he creates on the fifth day, because this is going to be interesting. So on the fifth day, On verse 20, it says, then God said, let the waters swarm with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky. So God created the large sea creatures and every living creature that moves and swarms in the waters, according to their kinds. He also created every winged bird according to its kind. Okay, so right now we're reading that God, on the fifth day, he created the sea. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see them, but I like this picture right there. The sea animals at the bottom, and then you can see some birds right here. I'm also going to show you the picture because I think it portrays it better. See, you see all the fish down there, and then the birds in the sky. So, okay, so we can see in verse 20 that God creates the birds and the sea creatures. We are in verse 21. It says, so God created the large sea creatures and every living creature that moves and swims in the water, according to their kinds. He also created every winged bird according to its kind, and God saw that it was good. So God blessed them, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. Evening came, and then morning, the fifth day. So on the fifth day, God creates the sea animals, as you guys can see it down there, and then the birds. So let's go back a little bit. So on the first day, God creates light. On the second day, God creates the sky. On the third day, God creates the sea, the earth, and vegetation. On the fourth day, God creates the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the fifth day, God creates the sea animals and the birds. So now let's see what he creates on the sixth and last day. So on verse 24 it says, then God said, let the earth produce living creatures according to their kinds. Okay, so living, let me put you a picture. Living creatures. Living creatures according to their kinds. Livestock, creatures that crawl, and the wildlife of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. So God made the wildlife of the earth according to their kinds. The livestock according to their kinds, and creatures that crawl on the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make man in our image. Okay, so on the sixth day, God is creating all the animals, all the animals that are on the earth, that live on the earth. And then he says, let's also in this day create man. Okay, let me put you this picture right here. I honestly like this picture. It looks so real. Look, it's like if he's putting the heart in there, made out of sand, because he created us from the dirt. It says, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. I have also this picture. See, that this is just beautiful. He says, God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. They will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the livestock, all the earth, and the creatures that crawl on the earth. So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female. So he created male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that crawls on the earth. God also said, look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the surface of the earth, of the entire earth, and every tree whose fruit contains seed. The food will be for you. For all the wildlife of the earth, for every bird of the sky, and for every creature that crawls on the earth, everything having the breath of life in it. I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. Evening came, and then morning, the sixth day. So God, on the sixth day, he created the animals from the earth, and also he created man in his own image and kindness and likeness. That's what it says. Image and likeness. Yes. I like the pictures. They're just so pretty, honestly, to show how God is creating human, man. But honestly, this is my favorite one because you can see he's also placing the organs. It's like every single detail. And obviously that was true. That's just because we just think about he creating man from the outside. But imagine like him also creating like the little organs. That's just fascinating. Anyways, let's keep reading. Okay, I mean, that's the sixth day. That's it. 6 days of creation. First day, God creates. Okay, let's go a little bit back to this picture right here. Okay, so 6 days of creation. When God creates the world, He creates it in 6 days. Like I said, first day He creates the light. Second day He creates the sky. Third day He creates the sea, the land, and vegetation. Fourth day He creates the sun, moon, stars. Fifth day He creates the sea animals and the birds. On the sixth day He creates the animals from the earth and man. That's what God created in the 6 days of creation. But there's something interesting. That's why we have the 7 days of the week, right? But there's 7 days of the week, not six. Why do we have a seventh day? What's the seventh day for? Have you guys ever wondered that? Well, the seventh day of the week, first we have to locate it within the weeks, within the days of the week. First of all, the seventh day of the week is not Sunday. No, it's Saturday. So the first day of the week is actually Sunday. Day 1 on Sunday, God creates the light. Day 2 on Monday, God creates the sky. Day 3 on Tuesday, God creates the sea, the land, and vegetation. Day 4 on Wednesday, God creates sun, moon, and stars. Day 5th on Thursday, God creates the sea animals and the birds of the sky. Day 6th on Friday, God creates the animals and man. Okay, the animals from the earth. So the seventh day, it's Saturday. And because we just finished reading Genesis chapter 1, we are just going to read the first verse of Genesis chapter 2, because that's when God talks about the seventh day. It says on the first verse, so the heavens and the earth and everything in them were completed. Okay, so this is basically saying, okay, everything was completed. The heavens, the earth, vegetation, water, animals, everything was completed. But the seventh day, God completed his work. By the seventh day, God completed his work that he had done. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy. For on it he rested from his work of creation. Okay. So now we know what the seventh day is for. So basically, after he worked the whole week, he made a day for rest. And this is very important because it's even good for your health. For our health, it's good if we are working every day of the week, but then we need to have one day for rest. And that's why God created the seventh day on Saturday. So Saturday is the seventh day. This day is holy. Saturday is a holy day for God. He created it for us to also rest. So even in Exodus 20, I think it's in Exodus 20, you can read the 10 commandments of God. And the fourth commandment, it says to keep the seventh day, to keep Shabbat, the Sabbath, which is a day that God created for us to rest. It's a holy day. It's very important. It's a holy day. He specifically says that we need to rest, that we have 6 days of the week to do any work. But the seventh day on Saturday, we need to keep it. We need to rest during that day. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I'm just gonna read Exodus chapter 20. We're gonna read from verse 1 you can read the 10 commandments, but on verse 8 of chapter 20 of Exodus, you can read that this is the fourth commandment. From the 10 commandments, this is the fourth one. And it says, remember the Sabbath day, which Shabbat means rest in Hebrew, which is Saturday. Remember the Sabbath day, which actually something interesting is that in Spanish, Saturday, it's called Sabbath. Sábado. Actually, sábado. So he says, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. You are to labor 6 days, like God did, and do all your work. But the seventh day is a Shabbat to the Lord your God. You must not do any work, you, your son, your daughter, your male or female slave, your livestock, or the foreigner who is within your gates. For the Lord made the heavens and the earth and sea and everything in them in 6 days. He's saying God created everything in 6 days. Then he rested on the seventh day. Therefore, the Lord blessed the Shabbat day and declared it holy. So honor your father and your mother. Well, that's it. Sorry, I'm like in the fifth commandment now. But that's why it says, the Lord blessed the Shabbat day and declared it holy. So this is in the Ten Commandments, guys. The church, like any church that you go to, they don't show you this. It's some of them, but most of them, they just don't mention the Shabbat. And it's in the Ten Commandments. It's crazy because if they're teaching you not to steal, not to murder, because it's in the Ten Commandments, they should also teach us about that Shabbat, which is the fourth commandment. It's very important, and it connects with the creation. That's why God made it. He just could have just, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can see it, but he could have just sorry, I think you guys can see it, but he could have just created, made 6 days of the week, because he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. But he added one day because he wanted us to rest in this holy day that he created, because he also rested in this day. So it's so important, So yeah, guys, that's everything for this video for today about the creation of the earth. I hope you guys learn something new. I hope you guys memorize this. Let me just repeat it. Day 1, light. Day 2, sky. Day 3, sea, land, and vegetation. Day 4, sun, moon, and stars. Day 5, sea, animals, and birds. Day 6, animals from the earth and man. And then day 7, God rested. So that's what he created on the week. On the 6 days of the week, and then the 7th day he rested. So I hope you guys like this live video. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one, in the next live video, which is going to be next Sunday. So I'll see you guys later. God bless you all.